Hello everyone, God bless you, whoever's watching this. I noticed that my last video was like a year ago or so, I'm not even sure. But I wanted to commit to making more videos. But then life happened. A lot of the videos that I shot, the few videos that I shot were in the break room of my job, which I since left. I used to work at a small financial, like a money service business, like a teller job, paying bills for people and, stuff like that. And I was doing that for 16 years and I got disillusioned. I was there. I worked with my stepfather and he passed away from cancer 6 years ago. And ever since then, ever since he passed, it hurt to be there. And I was finding a way out. I was trying to find a way out because, when you're in a job for so long, it becomes everything. So being that I was there for about 16 years, it was very difficult until my brother-in-law 7 months ago proposed that I work with him in the rideshare business. So now I find myself driving people to and from the airport, and it's kind of like Uber, but it's not. And I noticed that I had a lot more time on my hands. And I've been struggling lately with these rides, and it's a very weird business. It fluctuates, the rideshare business. Sometimes you get rides and sometimes you don't, and you got to find other ways to make money. But I noticed that I have time now. And I was really thinking about this, and I was praying on it. And one day I was coming back from a ride. I was driving down the parkway, and I thought to myself, I was praying, and it was impressed on my heart that I was being set aside. The things that I was asking for, God was doing. I wanted to make more time for him. I wanted to be able to be with my family more, but I didn't see it that way because when the rides weren't coming in, I was freaking out and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? But then it hit me. I've always wanted to speak to people and reach people. I was involved in a ministry that used to do street preaching. I wanted to reach people, and the Lord does things. If you look at my videos, I'm not the most polished person. Biblically literate, yes. My theology is passable. I'm not a fancy person. I just love Jesus. And it took me 7 months from the time that I left my 16-year job till now to realize that this is what the Lord wanted for me. He wanted to set me aside. And I didn't realize that. So I implore you all to just see that God speaks to us, not in the way that we want, but we have to be open to him. And we have to pay attention to the ebbs and flows of our lives. I'm going to try to make at least one video a week. I'm going to try. I'd like to go into the promises of God. I on YouTube, I see a lot of Christian YouTubers exposing one another. And, it's good to know that, God is a loving God. And when you're in him, spiritual warfare is real, but there's always a more beautiful thing. And there are times that I have to remind myself of that as well. That God is a loving God. And even though, I may have some things going on in my life at the moment, it doesn't mean that he's not with me. So it's important to remember that in those times when the Lord is not, when we don't feel his presence, we have to meditate on his promises and on his word. That's why his word is important. And I've been going through it for 7 months, and I didn't know why I allowed myself to get put in a position where I felt like I was alone when I never was alone. He was working for this very moment where I picked up my phone and said, I got time today. And when I did have time before this, all I was doing was stressing out about where my next ride was going to come from. But the Lord tells us that He covers the flowers and He gives the birds their daily meals. How much more will He do for us? We have to trust in the Lord. And I just want to implore you guys that going forward, whoever watches my videos, whoever sees them, or whoever wants to hear it, I'm going to do my best to at least come up with one video a week. I'm going to start out like this because I'm not going to make any lofty promises that I can't keep. But I love you. God bless you all. And I hope to go on this journey with whoever watches me. Take care. God bless.